listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Fuck stress.
Fuck stress.
Yeah. Episode's over. Fuck stress. That's the name of this episode. It's called Fuck Stress.
Have a good day.
I'm fucking done with it.
I think the smog acts like a megaphone.
It probably does.
I can hear the racetrack like it's
right
like
outside our
5
fucking
streets
door.
over. Yeah, instead of...
Yeah, 5 miles away.
Right?
More like 10 miles. I don't know how far away. Maybe 5.
It's a little ways out there. I mean, like driving's probably 10. But if you were able to like do a straight line, cut through all the shit, it'd be about 5.
As the crow flies,
right,
as they say.
As the crow flies, it would be about 5.
I don't think they can hear it, though. The people that are listening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's so loud.
I know. They might be able to hear it. If you can hear that a little bit, the bullet bikes in the background. It's a fucking racetrack. It's not helping with the stress.
It's not.
I forgot to ask you before we recorded.
Did you? What were you going to ask me?
Now we're just going to have to ask on air.
Here it is.
Do you remember the
Questions
topic
with
that we had
Steph and
talked
Craig.
about? The topic that we had talked about talking about today? That
Yes.
stemmed from the episode with Brandon
Yeah,
and
are we going to
Kristen.
start off with that?
Well, my question to you before the episode, so if you're listening, just mute it for a minute, come back in about 30 seconds. I
No
haven't really
peeking.
had a chance to dive into that mentally.
I haven't.
You haven't either? Okay, so let's not do that one today.
Okay.
And we'll go on to something else.
The suspense is real. You're welcome. Well, you know what? If they muted.
Muted, they'll never know.
You'll never know.
You'll never know. This is episode 267 of your favorite podcast. It's my favorite podcast.
It's my second favorite.
What's your first favorite podcast?
It's my first and second favorite.
I don't ever listen to this podcast, though.
You don't?
Do
I
you
used
ever,
to.
Do you ever go back and listen to our episodes at all?
I used to listen to this podcast religiously. And then you know what happened?
You got on it.
I got on it. And then I knew it happened. So,
Maybe that's encouragement to all the listeners out there. If you want to listen religiously, and then eventually maybe you'll be on the podcast.
there you go. There you go.
Right? Who knows?
The choice is yours. What will you create in your life?
The choice is yours at Chuckarama.
Wow.
Chuckarama is probably, I don't know if
That's
it's
what just happened?
international. It's not definitely not international.
I think it is.
Do you think they have Chuckaramas elsewhere?
I think it started in Italy. No, I think it's just an
Just a
America
Utah.
thing or a Utah thing, maybe, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the western part of this country. It's a
Is there
buffet.
Chuckaramas in New York, or are they too classy for that?
I don't know.
They might be too classy for Chuckarama.
Yeah. If you're from New York, let us know if you got any Chucks. When's the
Got
last
any-
time you were at a
What are they called?
Chuckarama?
What's the nickname for him out here? Do you know?
Upchuck?
Chuckarama. When's the last time I was at a Chuckarama?
Yeah.
I believe the last time we were at a Chuckarama. Oh my gosh, I'm such a jerk. I can't. It was a funeral.
Somebody that we knew?
Yeah, we were there together. And she, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know her. I didn't even know she existed until you told me she died.
Was it somebody from my family?
Yes. I believe it was your grandpa's second wife.
Yeah. Grandma Dorothy.
Grandma Dorothy. See, I didn't know her, and I'm sorry that
It's okay.
I forgot the name. I believe we went.
Did we go to a Chuckarama then?
I believe it was a Chuckarama. I
That sounds
believe
right.
it was. And then there was like, we were in the back room, and it was our chance to all
it
get
was up in
together.
Ogden, wasn't it?
And then that's when we had a family tragedy of mine. We had that whole crazy thing happen. The explosion
Oh,
that
yeah.
took my
That's
cousin
right.
and injured my uncle pretty
That's
bad.
right.
And then we left. So that was the last time we were at Chuckarama.
Well, I'm glad we brought it up.
Yeah, so definitely won't be going there. So yeah, we were at a funeral, and then
Yeah.
that was a rough day.
See, I started off the episode right. It's fuck stress.
I remember being like, "What do you mean there was another grandma and I didn't know there was a grandma?" And you're like, so I was sad. I love grandma energy.
I have quite a few things on my
Do
podcast
you?
list,
I've got some things on mine.
but we don't necessarily need to go into them. Do you have something that you want to go
Well,
into?
I have some funny things. Is that acceptable?
I suppose.
So one of the small businesses that we have
Coming up. Or that we've already had?
We already have, that we will do again and again.
We don't
Aesthetics
have
by Stevie.
Okay. I was going to say, we don't have a... Well,
aestheticsby.stevie on Instagram. At Aesthetics by Stevie. There's a funny story I want to share. And I almost, I want to get her permission and see if I can use her Marco for the soundbite itself.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not going to do it justice. But it was amazing.
She sent you a Marco?
She did. Because she's in school to be an esthetician, and then she's going to have her own business. Mm-hmm. They practice on each other as well as clients, because that's, how it goes. So one of the things they were practicing was waxing. And you wax all different parts of your body.
Yes.
Did you know that you can also wax your nostrils?
I did know that.
Did you know that? I stopped doing it for COVID because I want my hairs to keep the viruses out. So thanks COVID for my hairy nostrils. Anyways.
It's science, bitch.
It really is. What's the job of the little hairs in your nose?
My stance on body hair.
The little, what are they called?
Fibers.
Cilia, the little.
Yeah, cilia works.
Then the nostril curtains.
The nostril curtains.
So Stevie and one of her classmates were practicing, so they waxed each other's nostrils. And Stevie gets on and she's like, I got my nostrils waxed, and now I feel like I can smell colors. And it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. So I thought that was the best accurate representation of that, or description of that, as being a formal nostril waxer, is that yes, you do feel like you can smell colors.
We need to pull that audio and turn it into a reel.
Can I? Oh, I'm going to ask her. Because it's so funny.
Let's just do it. You don't need to ask her.
I'm going to ask her.
We're the parents in this relationship. We'll do it. We'll do what we want.
I think she'll say, I asked her if I could talk about it on the podcast, and she said yes. So she'll probably say yes. But if she doesn't, then it's gone. Oh, I'm going to have to find it. You know how many Marcos I'm going to have to go through?
Too many. So go ahead. So.
Oh, whatever. I guess we'll move on to whatever melancholy thing you want to talk about.
Please. Continue.
I was just going to keep going. I was like, so that was funny. That was all I had left. It was really funny. She's just cute.
She is cute.
She just popped up her nose in the camera and then goes, I feel like I can smell colors. And it was very funny.
You're very cute. People listening, we are blowing up on Instagram. They have found us and we are just exploding. We've got 5 new followers just in the past 2 weeks.
We've got more than that. We're doing good on Instagram.
Craig is finally getting the hang of Reels to some extent, and they're progressively getting a little bit better. We've upped our content creation, which has sparked new ideas and new things that we're going to be rolling out in the coming weeks and months.
I'm going to watch Craig make fun of me continuously on the Reels. So I get a lot of content for that, apparently. It's because I'm a funny person.
You're a very funny person. And feel free to make fun of this guy. I forgot. Don't forget, we can record it at any given point. Feel free to make fun of this guy.
You never do anything that's worth making fun of, because you're always so put together and mellifluous and calm and collected and funny when you want to be. I don't know. I'm done. I was trying to be silly. Are you filming me?
Yeah, I just made a reel. I just reeled you. I just made a reel of you talking. Steph was in the bathtub last night.
Oh my God.
And I came upstairs to show her a reel.
This is how scary you make it.
I had worked for 4.5 hours on a reel. I don't remember which one it was.
I don't either, because I was so scared, because every time I look up, there's a camera and nothing is private anymore.
So I worked not 4.5 hours. That's an exaggeration. It was probably more like 6 hours on this reel.
Oh my God.
I don't remember. Finally finished it. And I had to show her this amazing thing that I had created. So I came upstairs and she's in the bathtub and she has like a nervous fucking breakdown thinking that I'm going to record her. I would never record you in the bathtub for social media.
What you're going to do. I look up.
I would definitely record you in the bathtub for my consumption.
Yeah.
But not for the consumption.
I panicked. I thought, what new app do you have now? What are my boobs going to be? Balloons or something? So it's safe to put on. I'm sitting there with my boob balloons in the tub yelling at you like, get out of here.
That would be a funny filter.
See, that's why I worry.
Do you remember our really in-depth conversation that we had last night that I shared a bunch of shit with you?
Yes.
I want to get to that because that is something that I did want to talk about on this podcast.
Okay.
But I don't want to do it yet.
Okay. What do you want to do now?
I had a thought the other day.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember like the impetus for this thought, the thing that triggered this thought. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember where it came from. I don't think I'll be able to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it came from.
Okay.
But this is what I wrote down in regards to it.
Okay.
Sex and morality.
Sex and morality.
Separating the two. Sex not having anything to do with morality. So.
Oh, you know what I was hearing? I was like hearing consent. And then when you're like, sex has nothing to do with it. I'm like, it has everything to do with it. But I get you.
No, like moral, right?
Yeah.
Morality. How are you a moral person?
Oral is moral. That's what the Mormons say.
Oral is moral.
Have you not heard that?
I've never heard that.
That's how they apparently, because they have so much shame around sex, because they make it such a dirty thing.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're married to the, like, you lose your virginity at marriage, and no matter what shitty things happen in that marriage, you stay in it forever because you're supposed to be sealed and all that. And then everything's on the table, but you're not supposed to want it. You're just supposed to provide it for the man. That's super healthy. But that's one of the things, because you can like get kicked out of like all the things at the universities, the BYUs. You can get kicked out for sexual activity.
BYU is Brigham Young University. It's the Mormon university.
Super healthy place for you to attend college. It doesn't create any emotional damage whatsoever. But that's one of the ways they're getting around it. Oral is moral, is what they say. And then I guess anal, because that's not.
What's the fun rhyme for that?
I don't know yet. Anal is
clean.
Keep your hymen intact and stick it in your ass. Like, I don't know. I obviously don't have the same moral connections with sex as they do.
I don't know where this came up. I don't know where I had this thought, but at what point in history, like where did we decide that
anal can be pleasurable, by the way? It's not just a way to
I'm well
avoid
aware
the
of
vagina.
that. Right? I'm very well aware of that. Anyways.
How aware? Oh, yeah. Are you? Do you want to talk about that?
Where did we combine those two things? Why does sex have anything to do with morality? Because
it only does for women.
Well, the idea is that your morals somehow make up who you are, and then society judges you on your morals, right? Whether you're responsible, whether you, don't lie, take care of your obligations, your responsibility, all these kind of different things that create this moral person and this moral code. Why the fuck does sex have anything to do with that?
Well, there's lying involving sex, so there's that. But just, I mean, the act of sex, you got to be more specific than that.
So just the idea that somehow if somebody is sexually anything really, right, as long as it isn't in violation of somebody else's body or consent or all those kind of things, right? That's something different.
I think agreements and consent are
massively important. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, and even that I don't think has anything to do with morals per se. Right. But like, as far as like what people do sexually, why the fuck does that have any bearing on their morals?
I don't have any legitimate reasons. I just can regurgitate
do you know what I mean?
The stuff that I've
like
heard.
At some point along the lines, we combine those things. But so we'll just take our neighbors, for example, any of them. It doesn't matter which ones.
Okay.
So pick one of our neighbors. Maybe it's the old retired couple on the corner.
Sure, let's go with them.
Maybe they're just like super BDSM.
I hope
and they
so.
got some 50 Shades of Grey down in the basement.
Good for them.
And he likes to be strapped down.
We're not saying he does. We're just saying
pegged and whipped, and it's the whole 9 yards, right? Maybe they have
invite them over
they
for
got an OnlyFans channel. They got everything, right?
They just became a lot more interesting.
And now, if society or this community really or people learned about that, somehow they would judge that in some negative light in regards to their morals, right?
Yeah, they would not be received well.
And why does it matter?
It doesn't to me.
Right? I could care less what people enjoy sexually or what they're into or what they do.
Is it weird that I care a little bit, but not in a judgy way?
Just
but
out of
like
curious.
Like, oh, that's awesome. Like, tell me more.
Wouldn't it be fun?
I'm intrigued and, yeah, it's not repulsive for me. It's intriguing for me.
Should we share what we're into sexually?
Should we?
Like you're excited to hear about other people's
Doesn't mean I'm
sexual
excited to
proclivities.
share. I'm a voyeur, not an exhibitionist. Sometimes.
So there you go. You like voyeurism.
I like to watch.
Yeah. See, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like if you saw somebody have, like perhaps you came across, like maybe we're out hiking and I mean, we're probably the naked ones that are fucking in the woods.
We're the ones that are going to be
somebody's
watched.
going to come across. But
They're
let's
going to
say
be like, hey, do you mind if we watch? I'm like, join in. More the merrier.
Okay, so you're into voyeurism. What else?
What else? I wouldn't just sit there and sneakily watch somebody who doesn't know. If like we saw somebody having sex, I don't think I'd be like.
What if they were like clearly in public?
There's a thing.
It's one thing to be like peeking in people's fucking windows.
Yeah, that's not okay.
But if somebody is like in a parking garage getting a blowjob, do you know what I mean? Like, and we sit and watch.
I don't know.
Isn't there some sense of like, because there's excitement for that person or those people?
I think that person, I think it's the thrill of possibly being caught.
The exhibition.
But I don't think it's actually the act of being caught. Like if they like all of a sudden she pops up like a deer and it's like, oh, or he pops up, you never know, right? The person pops up.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't just sit there unless it was an explicit consent. I don't think I would sit there and watch. I don't know. I haven't been in that situation to know what I would do. Should I look away?
No, keep talking.
Can I watch?
Keep talking.
Can I watch?
Keep
going. Bless you, bless you.
Okay.
I don't know what I would do. I feel like unless it's okay, unless they're okay with me watching.
Would you go to like some sort of sex show?
Yes, I would.
Can we? Is there one that you know of? Can we go?
I would absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would too. Yeah. You and me.
Yeah.
Would you perform in a sex show?
Would I perform? Do you know somebody who's hiring? Is this a way we can supplement our income? I mean, I might. Would I perform in a sex show? Not money involved.
What would you feel? What would be wrong if money was involved?
I don't think.
What if you're a paid actress and the role is a sex scene?
I don't think there is anything wrong with being paid for sex. I think that sex workers, I think that should be legal. I see nothing wrong with that. However, it's not. And because also of my profession, like I would never, like those lines cannot be crossed because while I have no problem with it whatsoever, I think it should be legal. I think it should be supported. I do not think it should be shamed. And I think there should be more things to keep everyone involved safe because it's like, why? There's no reason. Like you can be a personal trainer, you can be like whatever and get paid. But if you're having sex and getting paid, it's suddenly fuck off.
Yeah.
But that's not something that I would do. So I have no problem with it. Doesn't mean that I take part in it.
That's very different than a sex show.
What do you mean?
Like what if, because we've talked about
sex show and getting paid for it. You're getting paid for sex.
Well, let me paint a scenario for you and whether or not you'd be down for it.
Because porn stars, it's different.
Right.
Okay. My brain didn't make the... That's
what if?
Right. I was wrong. Okay, so yes, I could get paid for a sex show.
Like, I feel like I would be more apt to do like a live sex show than I would porn.
It's the same thing.
I know. What is that in my brain that differentiates between those two things?
I think I think porn is, it's on video and anybody can see it as to where a sex show, as far as like what they are in my head, I've never been to one. But if you know of one, invite me. I want to go.
Hit her up in her DMs.
Right? No, I feel like that just opened up a ball of worms or whatever, can of worms. That's what it is.
Just open up
It's in the moment and it's not something that's going to be broadcast everywhere.
Right.
Would I participate in one? I don't know. It would depend on the moment.
What if you and I got the opportunity to participate in a sex show?
I would show up, but whether or not I would participate depends on the moment. I don't know.
Like the lights are bright and you get up on stage.
The lights are bright? Out.
Well, you're on a stage. It's a performance.
Why do you got to make it all weird?
What is it?
What kind of sex show are you? You turned it into theater.
What kind of sex show do you think it is?
I don't know. Not theater.
What else? I guess we have a different definition.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Not theater.
Are you thinking of like some alleyway or something?
Like, am I going to sit there and like bow to the director at the end? Like, not theater.
Is it a outdoor auditorium?
No, I think I'm
at the park.
I think I'm seeing like a closed environment, like a I don't know. I guess I'm hearing like you walk in and like, but you don't all get in your theater seats and stadium seating. It's like there's different.
That's a thing.
And they do it on stage?
Yeah.
That seems, I would fall asleep. I don't enjoy that.
You would fall asleep.
I think if it was
in the performing or the watching.
Either. I don't like the stage setting. I think that's, if you're doing sex shows on a theater stage, then don't invite me.
More power to
that one.
What one do you want to go watch?
I want to go to, I don't know. I think I might be a little sleazy, actually.
You can, but see here, it goes back to the morals and to the set. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, right?
I think
there's
it would
no
like
judgment.
Like a lot of like different things. Like maybe there's a bed in the middle of the room, and there's like different things, or there's different beds and couches or booths.
I think you're thinking of an orgy.
Am I thinking? Okay, maybe I want to go to an orgy. Maybe it's not a sex show. Maybe invite me to an orgy.
I think you're thinking of an orgy. That's completely different.
Really? Well.
So an orgy is when a bunch of people get together and
invite me to both, and let's see what I like.
But imagine
and what I participate in.
So do you remember when we went to the festival?
It was not an orgy.
It wasn't an orgy at all. But imagine if there was a stage.
Yes.
So like, do you remember the small? Because they did have a couple of different areas set up.
I got naked. So does that mean I was technically in a sex show?
Let me finish my question.
Okay.
So the covered gazebo, whatever, like the little place where they had a little platform and a little stage, and somebody got up and was giving their speech, right?
And then got really sick.
Yeah. What if in that environment where you have a small crowd gathered around, we just get up and have sex on that stage?
Do we have permission, or are we just the weirdos that get up and start?
I kind of don't think it would matter in that environment. I'm pretty sure that we could totally just get up there and have sex.
How about
Hold on, before you go to something else, would you do that?
Would I do that? Not first. If somebody else had already got up and started having sex at some point, would I feel more comfortable later? But would I be the first one that would be like
multiple people up there having sex?
I think, look, I have a lot of earth energy and I'm not the fire. So I wouldn't be the first one on stage having sex, but I might be the second.
Have you ever seen people having sex besides like you having sex?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
That's an interesting story, I bet.
Well, you'd know them. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Okay. Outside of the scope of our relationship.
Okay.
Prior to the saga that is Steph and Craig.
Somebody having sex that's not on a TV, like real life having sex. Let me think for a minute.
Real life sex going on in front of you where you could see it.
And real life sex going on in front of me where I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
That was not on TV.
Mm-hmm. That was not on TV. Yeah.
Yes, one time.
You can think of it?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it or no?
No.
Okay. That's okay.
No, right now. Actually, okay. It's fine. No, is it?
You don't have to. It's not that big of a deal.
It was.
Did we see it?
No, but if I'm going to say something and then you stop me, you take away all my courage.
Sorry.
If I like feel brave enough to like go into a story and you're like, no, I'm like, you just shut me down completely. So I won't tell it now, but I was going to.
Sorry,
so
listeners.
Just try and keep that open next time.
Sorry, Barb.
Like, don't give me, I don't need you to give me an out. I'll just say no if I don't want to do something.
I'll remember that.
Thank you.
Do you want to have sex on camera right now?
No.
Okay. See? We just practiced.
There you go.
I remembered and asked, and you said, no, we're moving on. I saw somebody have sex, or not somebody, like somebody by themselves. I watched some dude masturbate once.
Is that the next question? Have you seen somebody masturbate?
What it was there was this time period in my life where I worked at a bar and brought home a girl that I was dating, and we hung out with her friend and this other dude that worked at the bar. So it's like after the bar closes, we go back to the house and we're hanging out, and we end up going to my bedroom and having sex. And then at some point she had to like get up and go to the bathroom or something. And I looked out the door into the living room where the other couple were having sex. And I watched for a minute.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. You know, until it was like appropriately not creepy. Whatever amount of time that would have been. That's how long I watched.
That's how long you watched?
Just the right amount of time before.
So you saw it and shut the door.
If that's what your definition of not creepy is, then yes.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Well, like she got up to go to the bathroom, so they heard her moving around.
Yes.
And they didn't stop.
Correct.
So they probably didn't care. They were probably like, you like what you see.
Probably.
So there you go. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. I wasn't there. I don't know that. I don't know
that
if
was
that was
pre-Steph.
Okay. That was pre-Steph.
Yeah.
Mine was kind of similar, but not at all.
Yeah.
Similar. Like as in 2 couples and there was no swapping involved, but there was not separate rooms involved. So there you go. I told it.
There you go.
Moving on. You got it anyways.
What? Once again,
is that your only time you've seen somebody having sex?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hard pressed to think of another time that at least sticks out in my mind.
Okay.
Right? Other than me. Like I've watched myself have sex multiple times, but I can't think of other scenarios.
Like in a mirror, or are you just like not looking at the other person and you're like, what?
You name it. Sometimes I watch myself.
I watch yourself.
Sometimes I'm like, damn. Look at that guy.
He's got the moves like Jagger.
How did we get morals and sex intertwined?
How did we?
Yeah. I feel
Personally,
like they should just not.
I was taught from a young age.
Not us, society.
You just said, how do we?
I feel like we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it was the Dark Ages. It was the Dark Ages and the church.
You think
and
so?
Control and conformity. I do.
How can we separate those things now? And do you think it's possible?
I think it's possible. I think we need to, I don't know.
Do you truly not care what people do?
To a point.
Keeping in mind that it's not a violation of anybody, it's not abuse,
consent
it's
and
not
agreements,
yes,
and age appropriate consent agreements, all of the humanity things.
If you find out that somebody does something, like maybe, I mean, we'll just pick like the grossest thing that you can think of. That's
poop.
Okay. What if there's
I heard it's scat play, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Yes, I suppose in some circles.
Yes, right. Oh, I thought that's what it was. Is it not?
It is.
Okay.
I mean, that's one way to refer to it, right?
It's poop.
What if we find out that maybe the BDSM neighbors across the street are into scat?
That's fine, but I'm no longer inviting them to dinner. Not because, like, I just like.
But suddenly you judge them.
Oh, I'm not judging. I'm just.
You don't want to be around them because they're dirty.
No, not.
Why aren't they coming to dinner?
Well, before I was like, you want to talk about stuff, but I don't.
You're not into that.
I'm not into that. Like, I'm not going to like bring out.
Are you going to let those neighbors babysit?
I'm not going to let them babysit now because I don't know them. So no.
Let's say it's somebody that we do know.
Somebody that we do know.
And
I
that
have
we
to
would
already
let
trust babysitting, which is not a large group of people.
And then we find out that they're into some super freaky sex stuff.
As long as they're doing it on their own platform.
Are we on their own platform?
Like, not on my platform. Not while you're babysitting.
Do we have a sex platform?
It's our whole house. I don't care what people do sexually.
I just think it's really interesting.
I wouldn't judge sexually as long as they are not hurting anybody. I don't care what they do.
I can remember where this came from. Okay,
where did it come from?
Recently I was watching a clip on YouTube. You know who Jared Leto is, right?
I do know who Jared Leto is. Is he into scat play?
Probably. But he had I don't know what it'd be called. He did like a YouTube series or a YouTube show or something where they like hiked around Yosemite and the Grand Tetons. And I don't know the purpose of this show. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I ended up watching it.
Okay.
Anyhow, at the end of one of these episodes, he was showing like some of the outtakes and some of the things behind the scenes.
Okay.
As they recorded all this footage. Mm-hmm. And he would make some, not like snide comments, but he would make some comments about some sexual proclivities that he engages in, like orgies or like handcuffs under his bed, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was just making like these little comments about things.
So he enjoys sex.
Right.
Okay.
And then suddenly I mean, it's not like I was.
Did you like him more then?
Hold on.
I like him more.
But I judged him suddenly.
Oh.
Because in my mind, he has this. Obviously, I don't know who the fuck. I don't know anything about Jared Leto, right? The person, the real person.
Really? Okay.
But the person that we are shown, or the person that we supposedly know, I'm not surprised that he would participate in an orgy.
Correct.
Right? Like, you put a bunch of actors up and ask me which one. Jared, right there, that guy. That guy's hosting orgies at his fucking house. 4 out of 5 days. Do you think I would host
an orgy?
No.
You don't?
I think we would.
No, okay. Well, I'm just like, okay. Well,
I think you by yourself wouldn't.
Really?
Would you?
Well, I think you would, and I think we would. So I think you totally would.
Do you think you're seriously calling up a bunch of people for an orgy? By yourself? I'm not saying
right now I don't have that kind of people in my life. But if I had that kind of people, if I had orgy people in my life,
pop into her DMs.
I might be like, what up? I got nothing to do tonight. Do you want something to do?
Let's just watch some sex. Come on over.
Right? I'm just, okay, so.
Back to Jared.
Yes.
It suddenly sparked all of these judgments in my mind of him. So then I looked at those that were coming from me. Okay. And I'm like, why? I don't give a fuck.
I'm really surprised that you were judging him.
But that default mode, that first reaction is what I believe to be the societal programming that took place.
I wonder what because like right now I'm in a certain kind of mood. Right now I'm actually really upset, and like I have a lot of emotional pain in my body, and I have shut it down. So right now my emotions are like out of the way.
Right.
And so I'm very much leading with all of my like getting me through all of my survivals and a lot of my. So I wonder, because like right now I'm like, I don't give. But I wonder, because like you were obviously in a more vulnerable state where you were more connected with your emotions. Right now I'm not connected. So I wonder if I would have had the same thought. I don't think so, but I've got to get curious about it, right? Because right now this is my reaction. Would it be my reaction in other moments? I know there are definite times when do not talk about sex with me. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see about it. I don't like I am like, fuck off, get away from me, kind of thing. So, but I don't think I would then judge at that moment because you're not feeling it at that moment. Yep, it's definitely time for real.
Baby, keep going.
It kind of takes shot of the moment. I don't know what I was saying.
You gotta get used to. You wanted to be fucking recorded all the time. You want GoPros up our asses. This is what it looks like.
Not what I said. No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like. Oh, here's an important thought. Keep talking. Go. Say what you're feeling. That's why you're a theater sex guy. Jesus, you need to go ahead and be a director. I don't take direction well.
Go back to one. We gotta do that all over again.
So I'm just getting curious about it because I'm like, I'm surprised you were judging, and that's making me think. I'm like, right now I am not judgy, but different times, different emotional
states.
Yes, I can see how, like, that is very much a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting curious about it and getting honest and just trying to
truthfully look
broaden the viewpoint further than where I'm feeling in this moment. So please continue. I just had to
What I realized was that I was judging him, and I didn't like that. And then I was trying to figure out why. Like, why? First off, I don't care. Right. Jared Leto means nothing to me. I mean, he's a good actor, I guess.
I think he's
right.
Actually
I like
a good
him.
actor. Yeah.
He's been in some movies that I like. Right. But he's not. I'm not a super Jared Leto. He's no Matt Damon. Right. Well, Matty can do no wrong.
What if he was into scat play?
That's fine. Matt could murder people. I don't care.
Wow.
I will defend that man. Like,
really?
Oh, hell yes.
Super size.
Obviously, he can't kill people. I'm joking, but what I'm saying is Jared Leto is not Matt Damon.
He is not.
And so I don't care what Jared Leto's into, but then immediately I was judging him and like the idea that he is some like sleazy actor dude that.
Oh, he turned to that sleaze. Is that
do you know
what you're
I mean?
saying? Okay.
He didn't do any of this. This was just my view.
Okay.
And then I'm like, of course that sleazy guy has orgies. Because it's like, I think of it in the sense of there's a weird dynamic that takes place in my brain, and perhaps everybody else can relate. But it's like this weird dynamic of judgment where we'll take these two fictional people. Not that they're fictional, but like, let's think of Jared Leto and then, what's her name? Margot.
Okay. Well, because how could you not put those two together?
Right. Margot Robbie, right? So two actors, super famous people.
I'm going to hang out with Margot before I hang out with Jared.
I'm going to hang out with Margot before I hang out with Jared as well. However, what I'm saying is in this weird bizarre land scenario that Craig's painting, if we hear Jared Leto talking about having orgies and we hear Margot Robbie talking about having orgies, what is your reaction? In my mind, the first reaction I have of Jared Leto. So with Jared, it's what a sleazy, like he's probably taking advantage of women that just want to have sex with him because he's a celebrity and he doesn't treat any of them. And it's probably like super weird, drug infused, crazy sex orgies in his fucking rich place.
That's Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
That's who you're thinking, not Jared Leto.
And then if I think of Margot, then it's like more power to her that she's having orgies, right? Okay. I don't have any negative stereotype and association.
That's a nice flip than the normality. So that's awesome. I'll just leave it there. That's a nice flip. The normality is guys get to do all that and it's okay and women don't. So the fact that that's your flip, I'm just going to say that's like it's from one end of the spectrum to the other, right? But I like the flip. I like the fact that you're not shaming women. I don't think you should be shaming men if they're doing it consensual.
Right.
But see, right there, I just did it. I didn't say I don't think you should be shaming women. I didn't say if they're doing it consensual. I didn't loop them into that. But when I said men, it's like, hold up.
What if Margot's totally not doing it consensually? What if she's capitalizing on her stardom and she is totally using men for sex?
Are the men not willing? I feel like they'd be willing.
Think about it, though. This is a weird...
Capitalizing on her stardom.
So if we have super famous female who fucks people and takes advantage of them and takes advantage of men and has sex with them and then kind of like, you know, treats them poorly and tells them to get out of the house the next... Like, whatever. I don't care. Okay. And then you have the man doing the exact same thing to women. Which one are you going to view differently? Are you going to view those actions the same?
I am not okay with either. They are both equally fucked up and not acceptable. However, emotionally, I am more angry and more disgusted at the man doing it as opposed to the woman.
Yeah.
Ew.
What is that about?
I don't want to look at that. I'm going to have to sit there and dig in. I don't want to dig into that.
Oh, you don't have to.
I totally have to, but I don't have to in this moment on the podcast. Yeah, I definitely
there's just so many things like that I find a lot of times I will catch myself having a thought process or come across something and I will see it and I'll have like this default initial immediate reaction to it.
Yeah.
And it does not match with what I really believe. Like it doesn't match with how I think. It doesn't match with how I believe. It doesn't match with like how I live my life and what I do and all these kind of different things.
Shutting that program.
But I still have that initial thing, right? Jared Leto talks about orgies. I'm like, that guy's a fucking weirdo.
And then you were like, not really.
Not only not really, but I'm like, God, we should have some fucking orgies. You right?
Drop into my DMs. Notice I didn't say yours. Just because you don't think I'll host one. We got some things to change up in
Is
here.
that a challenge for 2022?
To host an orgy?
For Stephanie.
No, it's not.
That's going on the list. 2022 challenge.
Okay, go ahead and put it on the
Steph
list.
orgy.
I don't have to abide by your challenges.
I'm just saying. Maybe that'll be the thing.
If I want that to be something that I want to strive for, then I'll make it a priority. Just because you wrote it on your list doesn't mean it's a priority.
Oh, this is official. I'm going to actually put number one by it.
Yeah?
Number one. First thing on the list.
Do you want to see what I'm going to write by it?
Sure.
It's not number one.
What you going to put on this list for 2022? Challenges for 2022. FO. You know how we talk about some of the things that we could do with the podcast as it continues to grow and things like that?
I'm not going to grow it through orgies.
Think about how funny that would be, though. No, but think about it, because it's like, because there's podcasts, like Steph and I have talked about doing live podcasts, which we're definitely going to do at some point. And some people will create events for their podcasts and get their listeners together and have different things.
Yes.
What if those events that the Energy is Love podcast hosts are orgies?
Oh my God. Okay, that's kind of funny.
3 times a year, right? And we could time it around like the equinoxes and stuff
3.
like that.
That's not 3 times. Though.
And then like if you want to sign up
my God.
for the orgy, you got to subscribe to our mailing list. And then we could charge people.
We're going to charge people?
Yeah, to come to the event.
No,
What's the event? It's a fucking orgy.
Oh my hell.
I think it's a good idea.
I think I don't know about the charging. Let me think.
Do we need to seek out an orgy? Do you want to go to one?
I kind of do.
Do you?
Doesn't mean I want to participate.
You just want to go watch?
But yeah, no, I don't want you to put that on your list as suddenly you're searching for orgies everywhere. So let's wait. We've got some other things happening right now. I can't really take time off and go to my first orgy. So, if that happens, I want like a satchel, like how they do like the bridesmaids thing. And it's like Miss whatever. I want like Steph's first orgy. I want a satchel or like first orgy, or it's my first time or
Orgy
something.
Orgy
Virgin.
We could have those.
I want that, so I can be like, and then I want special treatment.
The perfect event. So if it's your
them
first
to,
orgy,
dance around me and do things and like pull me into. I want it to be.
So if it's your first orgy, you have to wear the pink scarf, and the pink scarf represents that it's your orgy virgin. So then, as you're walking around and everybody, that person's got a pink scarf on, you're going to be a little bit more soft with that person,
but
right?
attentive
and understanding. And then if you wear
consent.
It could be like belts in jiu-jitsu, right? So a white belt means you're an orgy virgin, and if you're at a black belt,
you're like belts and stuff and scarves. You're getting a little
and NXIVM.
Yeah, you're getting a little there. Like no scarves, no belts.
Our sex cult that we're starting.
No scarves, no belts.
If you're a black belt in orgies, that would be so fun.
Can you imagine? Okay,
I can imagine all of this.
I'm judging because my view of what the orgy black belts look like are not the black belt.
Right?
I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm going to be like, please. Like
the orgy black belt guy is so creepy.
I'm going to do like the COVID thing.
He's got an unbuttoned shirt. He's got some gold chains
shields on. So my pole stick 6 feet away.
He comes up and he's like, hello.
You just made it gross.
I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm so glad you're back. How are you?
You just took all the fun out of the orgy.
But see,
I no longer
you're
want to
judging the sleazy black belt orgy guy.
I am. You're right. I don't even feel guilty about it.
See, for me, I'll hang out with the sleazy black belt orgy guy. No.
Okay.
Everybody hates that sleazy orgy guy.
Yeah. Well,
let's go to one.
I don't have the same desire to go to one now.
If you are...
All I can see is like those
sleazy guys.
Mm-hmm.
Or what about the sleazy women, though?
I don't like sleazy women either.
What do they look like? What's a sleazy orgy woman
Don't
look
act like you know damn well what a sleazy woman looks like.
No, but tell me, like in your mind when you pin, the sleazy orgy guy.
How about I just name them? Do you want to know what sleazy
some of your
looks
exes,
like?
motherfucker.
Here we go.
Go back in your list of pre-Stephanie. I'm pretty sure you'll find some.
Yeah, so got some awesomes back there.
So maybe orgies next year.
I don't know. I don't like the creepo factor that you just put into it. I want the non-creepo factor.
That's why we cultivate our own.
Okay.
So we build it and they will come.
And then we also have screening rights.
We have to screen the people?
I'm going to screen. And it's not like the weirdo, like you have to perform. Like I just want to like.
There's no way to.
It's just coffee. It's just coffee or tea. Because I'll know what kind of energy you have.
I'm confused. What do you screen coffee and tea for?
Like, so the people that get invited are only after we have coffee or tea or water or whatever. Like we have like at least a 30-minute meeting because I'm going to sense the energy. So we have a 30-minute, nothing happens.
You have to meet everybody that comes to the orgy?
Well, after I didn't want to, but you said we're hosting it and you talked about sleazy black belt orgy people. Not that black belts are sleazy, just the orgy version.
So this is a really good example.
No, you just shut it all down. All my walls are up. No orgies.
This is a really good example of all the way back to Craig's
my orgy fantasy. You broke it.
Morals getting in the way. Who cares if the sleazy orgy guy?
Because they don't. It's not the sleazy because they like sex. It's sleazy because they do not respect your boundaries. They come up, they push your boundaries. They try and get you to do things that you don't want to do.
They're the guys that come and dance with you at the club. I hate those fucking guys.
They're just that they think that they can do whatever and that your body is just for like, that is the shit that I don't like. So when you say sleazy, I'm saying my consent is being violated. Like my body, like all of that. It just takes away my safety. So it's not because you like certain things. That's why I said you can tell by sitting with them, because it's how they treat other people. I don't care what you like. I care how you treat other people.
You know what's really interesting is this sleazy orgy guy that you're describing, I can see.
Right?
And you can feel the energy around this guy.
Exactly.
Because he'll say, of course. Yeah.
Right?
Like if the list of things that are important.
Boundaries, absolutely.
Right? Like our orgy, the energy is love orgy rules are first and foremost, consent is number 1. Right?
Consent is 1 through 10.
And sleazy orgy guy is going to be like, yeah, I totally understand consent. I'm all about consent. That's super important. And then like, you're going to see underneath his bullshit and see all of his sleaziness.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I think we have to allow in some context,
no
context.
sleazy consent violators allowed.
Do you remember?
We need a bouncer.
The Mushroom Festival, the
Yes.
sleazy fucking douche that was trying to record the naked women out at the watering hole.
I remember that. That felt really shitty.
That guy is a sleazy
Yes, he is.
orgy guy.
He should have been removed.
Because he would pretend like, yeah, totally. And then he's the guy that would totally do the inappropriate
It's
things.
just so beautiful. Yeah, that was not okay.
Yeah. So how do we
I don't
weed
know what
out
you're
those
talking about.
people?
That's why I just said coffee or tea or something, a half-hour meeting. I can weed them out.
Okay. I believe you. I have no doubt. I'm fine with that.
I don't know that you could.
You don't think I could weed out those guys?
I think it depends on which hat you were wearing. I think there's different times. There's times I think nobody would get through. And there's other times I think that you just want to love, like you don't, like I think you would be just too oblivious to like set on the mood and like, I don't know.
The problem is the orgy is always going to attract the sleazy guy and the sleazy woman. It's not to say that there aren't sleazy women.
So
yeah, if you're having an orgy, there's definitely some sleazy people coming around.
It's not like public orgy. It's not like orgies listed on Craigslist. It's okay. That's why I don't know.
Should we move on?
I'm no longer comfortable.
Okay. That's okay.
I was really excited about the orgy.
And not anymore?
Not anymore.
Because of sleazy guy?
Congratulations, I'm a nun.
What if we were invited to an orgy?
Were we invited?
No. What if somebody listens to this episode in Utah? We have a lot of listeners here locally, right?
Yeah.
And they hit us up and they say, hey, we heard you talk a lot about orgies on that episode. If you want, there's
I don't know.
a standing orgy.
It would depend on how I felt at the moment, how you felt at the moment, what they felt like, what that conversation looked like, and also an understanding that we might show up.
I knew a guy that
Doesn't
went to
mean
an
we're
orgy.
gonna fuck. Did you?
Uh-huh.
Like, can I talk to him?
You know a guy that went to an orgy.
Do I really?
Uh-huh.
Is it you? Did you go to an orgy? Are you that guy?
No.
How have I not heard this story?
No. This guy went to an orgy. I think I can't remember if he went once or twice.
I think I know who it is. I'm going to write down a name.
You probably know who it is. Hold on. I'm going to talk and you're going to know who it is.
Okay.
And he went, he was invited to come
Literally.
with a purpose. He was invited to show up for a purpose.
Uh-huh.
And that purpose was to straight razor shave
I
vaginas.
knew it. That's who it was. That's who I thought it was.
So that was the purpose of him going.
Straight
was
razor,
to straight
shave
razor shave vaginas.
Vulvas.
So he shows
Vaginas
up.
aren't hairy.
He shows up with
Vulvas are.
vulvas. Maybe some vaginas are hairy.
No,
you
those
don't
are
know.
on the inside.
That's not to say
We
there
don't grow
couldn't be hair
on
in
the
there.
inside.
There could be hair in there. There's all
grow
sorts
hair
of
in
weird shit that happens to our bodies.
That's true.
Anyways, this guy shows up and
What kind of, okay, ladies, what
that's a thing.
I cannot
There's a fetish
bend,
out there.
okay, but to let some stranger with a razor
Right?
at my,
Right? So you lay down
Fuck
and
that.
stirrup up and just get your
and he's got a razor
vulva straight razor shaved.
by somebody that you don't know. I'm not holding hands with somebody I don't know.
You're not doing that?
I'm
Is there even
would
any
I
part of
would
you?
let you, if I decided that I wanted to get a straight razor, You would be the only person on the planet. And I still would be like
a nervous wreck the whole time.
Actually, I would probably be okay with you doing it.
Yeah.
I'd probably.
See, there's part of it that's kind of sexy.
With you, with trust. Some stranger walking in, like I even know that guy.
What about a professional?
I know he's a professional. I know he knows what he's doing. I know he's a good guy. Like I know that like he's somebody that I think is trustworthy. I would not be afraid of him hurting anybody. And that's not fucking happening. Not fucking happening.
Well, because it was like a standing event, and I think he went to it maybe once or twice.
What did he think of it?
He thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it was a wild
he
fucking.
nervous?
I'm sure at first. Yeah. I'm sure.
Then he was like.
And then he's like. Right.
Next.
If you're listening, you have to go to YouTube. There's going to be a clip. I'm going to cut that out of what she just did and turn it into a clip. So you have to go to YouTube, follow us, and subscribe, because there's going to be a clip of what Stephanie just did on camera.
Mister, you know who you are. If you were listening to this episode, I want to hear about it.
Yeah, he needs to come back and be on the podcast.
You can talk about it on the podcast if you want to. If you don't want to talk about it on the podcast, just talk to me about it. I want to hear all the things.
Yeah.
All the things.
There's orgies out there.
I want to hear all. I know, but I don't want to go to an orgy either that is nothing but 20-year-olds.
Right.
You know, I don't want to go like.
You want to go to some adult orgies?
I would rather, I can't. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but.
We haven't been to a nudist resort, but we went to the nude beach.
We thought we were going to a nudist resort, and it wasn't, remember?
When was that?
We saw when we were on our way back after our nude beach. And we were driving through, and it was like we were looking at places that maybe we would go to, and we called one, and then I just verified, and she's like, nope, that's not what this is. I was like, oh.
It's like just a regular RV park.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's how you're listed on Google. I'm glad we didn't just show up and like, because we were driving in our van, so it was like,
it's so funny, the different people, right? Because the people that are going to be the nudists, like the old nudists at the nudist club or resort or whatever, are so different than the orgy people. But maybe they're not. Maybe they all mix and match, and because we're both, right? We could be orgy people. Yeah. I don't know. I think I would be really uncomfortable at an orgy for a while.
I don't know that. I can't. I don't.
If we get just the right amount of high, I think I'd be all right.
I would be okay. Like, see, so when I'm talking about an orgy, like my activity would be, yes, I could go.
Okay.
Yes, I could watch. Yes, I could participate with you. I could not. I cannot participate with strangers
at the orgy.
Yeah, and it's not a moral thing. It's a where I'm at. I cannot have. I can't have sex without connection. And like, could I physically go through the motions and, yeah, but I don't want to just go through the motions and perform. I want to enjoy myself. I want it to feel good. I want to care about making it feel good. And without connection, I can't.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be like, hey. I couldn't do, I have to have connection for sex.
I think that you and I could have a lot of fun in orgies, and I think we could go and enjoy it. But I also think that it's probably not our scene.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the type of thing where we would maybe dabble, but I don't think we're going to be orgy people.
What
do you think?
No, definitely not. But I think it would be an experience to go.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 times.
Maybe. But like, are you like, we would have to have agreements set beforehand, because like there's things that I would be comfortable with and things that I would not be comfortable with. How would you feel about those conversations before going in?
What do you mean? Of course. That's the whole thing, right?
Because you know what happened in my dream?
Which one?
The one where I said, let's go. Oh my God, I just dreamt about that. Remember?
Did we go to an orgy?
I told you.
That's
and it was the one that
and you beat the shit out of that bitch.
Well, let me finish. Why? So I kissed like the guy, and I was like, I don't like that. I want to go. I don't like what's happening.
It's like when the kid eats like an onion or something and they think it's an apple and it just falls out of their mouth.
I didn't like what was happening. I wanted to go. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to go. I'm going to go.
In this dream. This is a dream.
It was a dream. And you're like,
totally a dream.
I'm going to fuck her. And I was like, no, like, I want to, let's go. This doesn't feel right. And you're like, and you didn't care. And this person was a friend of mine who knew. And so she didn't like, so she was being like shitty.
Let me ask you.
So
was this a real person?
Yes, it's a real person.
That you knew?
Yes.
You didn't tell me that.
I don't think you were really listening beyond things.
Hey, I listened to you, woman.
Okay. So I didn't tell you it was a real person.
Will you tell me after?
Yes.
Or will you tell me now?
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't, like, that's not nice, right?
Of course.
Because she wouldn't do that. So I'm not going to be like, you did this in a drink. Like,
so you knew this person in reality. And in the
so
dream.
the whole thing was shady.
Yeah, because she was being a little sleazy.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she wasn't. She was just like, she's being fucked up. And you were kind of being fucked up. And so I'm not, like, even in my dreams when I have to fight, it's never aggression. It's defending myself. And it's like the punches don't land. Nothing happens. And I'm like, oh, and I'm trying to defend myself. It's never like an aggression.
Yeah.
But this dream was aggression. This dream, I was like, here we go. And I beat her up in my dream. Like, the punches landed. I kicked the shit out of her. That never happens. And then I looked at you and I'm like, see ya. Like, go ahead, stay. And then I was done.
Yeah. Have fun sleeping with that chick. She's going to the hospital now.
So that's what happened when we went to an orgy, is you didn't follow the agreements.
Yeah. I would definitely follow agreements.
And then I had to beat somebody up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think that would happen.
That wouldn't happen.
If we go to an orgy,
I would never beat somebody up.
and you say, I want to go. Sweet, let's go.
I would never beat somebody up.
Yeah.
Somebody would have to hurt somebody that I loved, or I needed to protect somebody that I loved. I wouldn't just be like,
just go beat somebody up for being rude.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think you would either.
I might. Would I? No. I have the I'd want to. Wanting and doing are two different things.
Everybody wants to beat somebody up.
I would really want to, and maybe even be mad at myself for not doing it at certain points. But I wouldn't do it.
Do you think we know any orgy people?
Do we?
Like, run through your brain all the people that we know.
Oops, hold on.
And not necessarily, because I'm sure we know somebody that's gone to an orgy, right? That's for sure.
People.
Obviously, we talked about one already.
I don't want to be an orgy people. I just want to know what it's like to have gone to an orgy. Not necessarily participate.
You just want to go.
I kind of just want to go.
Voyeurize.
Kind of.
We'll
like, how
be
great.
A voyeur.
But not like in the corner. Like, where that's also acceptable. Just a safe sex place.
You just want to be right in the middle?
Place. No, I don't know. I want it to be okay. Like, everybody there, like, either, like, if you want to have sex, fine. If you don't, fine.
That's what most orgies are, from my understanding.
Have you ever been to one?
From my understanding.
From the one person who did a straight razor shave on, like, I feel like you need more sources than.
It's not to say that's my only source of orgies.
What's your other sources?
Well, you've heard about them before. You've researched them. Not TV necessarily. I mean, I've heard podcasts talk about them. I've heard other people, like when it comes to orgies and swinging and all sorts of different stuff that takes place. So there's kind of like a set of guidelines and rules and things like that for the up and up ones that take place, right? We're not going to go to a hole in the wall orgy. It's
getting too real.
Okay.
It's getting too real.
We got to move on now.
Well, I think, like, I like the fantasy.
Eyelash.
Get up.
You have you like a fantasy?
I like.
There you go.
Thought. Thank you. Like, as I'm getting too into my head, it's like, oh God, like the thought of actually, like.
See, and you think you're going to be the person starting the orgy, making the phone calls, setting the date.
Okay, so fine. So I won't be, but it was a fun thought to think that I could for a minute.
You are that person, really.
Well, then there you go.
You're just too nervous. You're nervous, Nelly.
I am. I no longer want to go to the orgy. I'm afraid. Delete the podcast. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
I would be interested to find out if there's orgies that we know.
If there's orgies that we know.
If you're an orgy and you're listening.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know if you want to find out?
We're
definitely not going anytime soon. That's for sure.
Anyways.
You are what?
Doesn't matter.
You're not going to finish that thought?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the podcast.
I didn't even get to show my new toy.
Show it. It's not done. We're still on.
It's funny.
air.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's.
Are you going to put it on?
I am, because it's so funny.
Put it on.
My mom's so funny.
Put it on.
So she's very nice.
This was a gift from Steph's mom.
It was very nice, because have I ever talked about, like, I get some shitty ass headaches.
You used to.
I used to. I don't anymore. That's sarcasm. I don't get them as bad as I used to, no. But she found this thing and...
Describe it. Describe it for the people listening.
Okay. It's a headache relief hat. That's what it says right on the box. It's supposed to be like this cap that you can make cold or hot. You can either freeze or put in the microwave, whatever. And then it's gel, which cold does help for your head. But I don't think it's compression. I don't think it does compression, but so it's, you get the cold and you can like have it sitting above your eyes, but you can pull it down. So then it blocks out the light. So you've got the cold on your head. It blocks out the light. I've actually been battling. So she got me one and I thought, she's told me about it. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. But I kind of just was like,
have you tried it on
I
yet?
haven't.
Oh
I did
gosh.
put it in the freezer and I'm going to try it on. So she got it and part of me was like,
did you put it in the freezer? It's a little cold.
It's because it's been sitting out the whole time.
I said it's a little cold.
Oh, a little cold. I thought you meant it's not very cold. But part of me thought it was funny and I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it out.
Here we go. This is a podcast first. That's heavy.
It is heavy.
It's like neoprene.
What?
Neoprene.
Okay.
That's what they
so
make
it's okay,
us.
I haven't done my hair yet, so I don't have to worry about it.
Wetsuits out of.
It's a wetsuit for your head. It's a condom for your head. Oh, it's not a cap. It's got a hole.
Can I please take a picture of you once you put it on?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So. Oh, you know what?
What?
I'm making it actually feels nice.
Does it?
On my head.
Hold on, pull it down.
Hold on. This is how.
That's how it's designed to be worn.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh my God. I was totally this is actually really nice.
Do you love it?
Holy shit, I do love it actually.
Hold on, leave it on. You can finish the episode with it.
I can finish I can't even.
You know
Am
what?
I at the mic?
Baby, we actually found the perfect thing for you to wear to the orgy.
It totally blacks everything out, but the cold.
Right? Now you can just relax.
My head hurts really bad. And it actually feels really good.
You look awesome.
I think I just gave a review on something that I intended to make kind of fun of.
But it feels great.
Oh my God, it feels really good. This is nice. I don't want to take it off.
Should we hit them up and see if they sponsor the podcast?
What is it? I think so. Theracle. It's like therapy and miracle? Theracle, am I saying it right? No, I'm not.
Thera Ice.
That's How did I get the Theracle?
It looks like Theracle.
Thera Ice.
But it's Thera Ice.
Oh my gosh. It is soft.
Yes.
And that cold. The only thing I wish it was instead of two pieces, because it's like one whole piece, but the cold parts are there's that section in the middle where it's kind of split, and I wish that wasn't. I wish it was somewhere, because the cold over your ears like just helps, because the pain is so bad, like all like this, all around the back of your head and your ears and up. This is actually wonderful.
Okay.
I'm going to go tell her that this... Oh.
Coming to an orgy near you.
Steph and the Thera Ice.
Steph and the Thera Ice. Thank you for tuning in.
To look. This is wonderful.
Remember, we're highlighting small businesses this year, or the end of this year. So if you want to hit us up on Instagram and be promoted and spoken about kindly on this podcast, please reach out and do that. Thank you for listening. Go follow us everywhere that podcasts are available. Do us a favor. This is the easiest thing to do. Like, just tell somebody else. I don't care if you you don't have to rate the show. You don't have to subscribe. Hopefully you can do all those things. But the simplest thing you can do
follow
is
us on Instagram too.
Just tell somebody else about the podcast so that somebody else listens. Right?
Yes. Don't worry. I don't talk about orgies every podcast.
You never know. We might transition into the orgy podcast.
I don't think so.
I'm thinking it's a great idea for summer 2022.
I dyslexia this. I changed orders in the words in the language. Jesus Christ. I don't even use words.
We'll see you guys next week.
I really have that.